Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy, and today we're going to be diving into a little bit of Dragonite. Now, I actually saw Spraggles did his version of one of these, and so I decided I would do my own. So we actually are here on Unite Pro, and they have all the information about Dragonite. So if you haven't, check out the link in the description, and you'll be able to see all the abilities, all the passives if you want to get read up and prepared, because Dragonite, as of the time of recording this, comes out in about 4 or 5 hours, depending on when I upload it, but about 5 hours from now. And we have all their damage scalings and all this fun stuff. So Dragonite is going to be an attack-focused all-rounder, and yeah, let's go ahead and look at it. So Extreme Speed, really quickly, I'm just going to blow through some of these. Has an 82% attack scaling. We have Outrage, has a 176% attack scaling, and then Hyper Beam, a 200% attack scaling. So getting attack on this character is going to be really, really good. But there are some other things that I think are really, really important. So Dragon Dance obviously doesn't have like damage scaling. At least it hasn't been published. If it does have, you know, how much damage it does, but probably not very much. But this is going to be your dash move mobility. This move, Dragon Dance and Outrage is really what I'm looking forward to running. But I actually think that Extreme Speed and Hyper Beam could be really fun as well. So we'll see what the viability of these actually look like. You know, it has an extra, you know, percentage HP remaining damage, 3% enemy max HP on some of these. So it's going to be some really cool stuff. But I'm thinking build-wise, I'm already kind of starting to look at like Dragon Dance Outrage, and I'm thinking like Muscle Band Buddy Barrier, something going to be really, really important on this character. But for that third item, and really just depending on how you want to play the character, something like Razor Claw could be really good. Something like Weakness Policy, raise up some of this, you know, this attack stat, and get yourself doing a lot of this big damage. Now, as for the Unite move, you have the Draco Impact. It has a 203% attack stat, so really cool. I don't really know how much this is going to matter, because a lot of the time, or I would assume some of the time, you're probably going to be using this at long range. So something like Weakness Policy, unless it's stacked up and then you slam right on top of people, which you may do, would be really, really interesting. But if you're really looking to take advantage of that long range impact, then you're probably not going to get much out of this unless you're stacking like an attack weight or something. But decent scalings, like really good scaling. So something like a Weakness Policy, something like an attack weight scaling, or like stacking kind of build, would definitely do fine. But I'm really thinking about like the viability of running like Double Band Buddy Barrier. I think could be really good if you want to lane the character. That's probably going to be a really solid build. Something like Muscle Weakness Buddy Barrier, Muscle Razor Claw Buddy Barrier. Don't really see much use for a scope lens in this build. And just like looking at some of the other items, like you could go more defensive. Focus, like I said, Focus Band will be good. And then I'm really excited to try out, say, like Muscle Energy Amp Buddy Barrier, and see how this will, like, how it'll work essentially when you're kind of like spamming short range Unite moves. So you're using like a small percentage of the Unite move, and then you're spamming it and like kind of like using that over and over and over again. Could be really, really interesting. But actually, you know, I don't really see a ton of build diversity for this character. I think that Muscle Band is going to be really, really good on the character. Bring yourself some consistent damage. I think that Razor Claw could obviously be really good. I think that that would be fine. Do I think that it's necessary? Don't really see this as much of an ability spammer. So like someone on Serena, where I really like Razor Claw, it makes a lot more sense. But I think something really standardized for this character, I can really see Double Band Buddy Barrier being a solid option, and or like I said, Muscle Razor, Muscle Weakness. So give yourself like some defensive options. So that's kind of what I'm looking at the character. But let's quickly go on ahead and blow through the abilities really quickly, just as a quick reminder, and you can kind of think about how you want to play Dragonite, and yeah, all the fun stuff. So we have the boosted attacks, and in short, you have the Dratini boosted attack, which is a water boosted attack that restores HP when it hits. You have the Dragonair boosted attack, which is an electric boosted attack that stuns for a short time. And then you have the fire boosted attack that deals additional damage. And this is going to be for each like evolution, and then when you're Dragonite, it cycles through those three boosted attacks. But for the passive, it basically increases your defense when you're afflicted by a status condition, and then it turns into multi-scale. So Marvel Scale turns into multi-scale and reduces the damage the Pokemon receives for a short time, and this ability goes on cooldown after it's triggered. So really cool stuff there. And let's see. I know there's a way to reset that, and I'm trying to remember where it is in the cooldown. Oh yeah, Extreme Speed. Using this move will reset multi-scale's cooldown. So if you know that your multi-scale passive is proc, you can actually use Extreme Speed and get it again. So I think Extreme Speed is going to be really interesting to see how it works, and see what it feels like running something like Extreme Speed and Hyper Beam, or Extreme Speed and Outrage could be an interesting build. As for Dragon Dance, is going to be your mobility. So I think Dragon Dance, it's hard to pass up on a dash move, right? Like it really is. So we'll have to see how that feels. But Extreme Speed has the user leap to a designated opposing Pokemon and throw it, and dealing damage to opposing Pokemon in the area of effect, and shoving them also decreases the movement speed of opposing Pokemon it hits for a short time. Using this will move. Using this move will reset multi-scale's cooldown. So this could be really good for like engaging and just like diving in on people. If you have this with a Razor Claw, could be really interesting. I think Extreme Speed with Razor Claw could be really interesting. You're not going to be, like I said, not spamming abilities and getting a lot of value out of Razor Claw, but you could still use this to chase people up and get some good damage. So. And then if the user's movement speed is currently decreased when using this move, that movement speed decrease is negated before the move is used. So that's kind of cool. You can kind of get yourself out of like slows and things with this as well. Decent scaling. It's going to do some damage. So pretty cool stuff. And then again, Dragon Dance has the user move to the designated direction while dancing movements. With dancing movements, the damage dealt by the opposing by this Pokemon is increased for a short time, while its movement speed and attack speed. If you damage a Pokemon while using this move, the cooldown is shortened. Every time you use this move, the damage you inflict increases up to 3 times. So this is going to be really fun for, like I said, chasing Dragon Dance Outrage. You're just meleeing them, you're hitting them really hard, and you know, that's why I'm seeing like Dragon Dance Outrage with like a muscle band. It's going to be really interesting. Upgrade is if an opposing Pokemon is around the target area when you use this move, your move speed will increase even more. The additional movement speed will gradually decrease after a certain period of time. It becomes 0. So you get a boost of increased move speed, and then that gradually comes down. All right, let's look at Hyper Beam and Outrage. Has the user aim at the designated opposing Pokemon, charge up power, and then unleash a beam of light that sweeps up the ground in a straight line, in addition to the beam's base damage. It also deals additional damage to opposing Pokemon it hits, equal to a set percentage of their max HP. The user is left unable to act for a short time after using it. So it kind of gives you like a little mini stun. And this happens for both of these moves. When the Rampage ends on Outrage, you're unable to act for a short time. Little mini stun, but it sounds really, really interesting. And this has a nice range to it that I've seen, and has some really good scaling. So would be really interesting to see this in like a attack weight, weakness build potential. You can like chase up on people, like use Extreme Speed to like, you know, like slow them and stun them and do all that fun stuff. And then just kind of like spam a Hyper Beam on them. So really could be an interesting like range-ish kind of build, where Outrage is more of the like melee focus build. Has the user start rampaging, stomping the ground, and dealing damage to the opposing Pokemon in the area of effect. Also triggers the additional effect of most recently used boosted basic attack. You can kind of manage the effect of your last boosted. Might be something to think about. During the Rampage, all the user's basic attacks become special melee boosted attacks with increased attack speed. While the Rampage ends, the user is left unable to act for a short time. So this move sounds really, really strong. It's melee, it's ranged. Again, you can kind of see there's some options for this character in terms of how it plays. Now, I forgot to read the upgrade. Damage taken while using this move will be reduced even while storing energy. And then upgrade on Outrage is going to be reduce the duration of hindrance effects influenced or inflicted on the user when the user is rampaging. So I don't know. Like I said, Dragon Dance Rampage or Outrage looks really, really good to me. It's got some good scaling. Might be something that I'm going to throw. Like I'm kind of thinking muscle weakness, buddy. Chase up after some people, let them be hitting me. I'm going to be doing a lot of you know, damage. Going to be slamming them pretty hard and yeah, hitting them with the muscle band. So. And then, of course, the Unite move has the user fly into the air before crashing down with several comets on a designated area, dealing damage to opposing Pokemon in the area of effect, and throwing them. The farther the user flies, the more the Unite move gauge is consumed. While the Unite move is being used, the user becomes unstoppable. So, unstoppable when using it. I'm really wondering how spammable this is at short range. If you can proc Buddy Barrier over and over and over again, what that looks like with an energy amplifier. It's going to be really interesting to see. So again, I think really quickly, we'll talk about builds. I've already done that quite a bit. Muscle, it's pretty standard builds in my opinion. Muscle Focus Buddy, going to be a really solid build. I see nothing wrong with this whatsoever. I think Muscle Razor Claw, like again, you can chase people up, melee them, get some extra damage, get that boosted effect out of it. That one sounds really interesting. Again, Scope, I don't know. I know you're going to have like a lot of melees, but I just don't really see it on this character too much. You don't really need it. I think I would much rather see something like a Weakness Policy or a Razor Claw if you're going to go in that way. And then I guess, you know, a stacking build, you know, a Score Shield, attack weight, Buddy Barrier could be something interesting. Score Shield, attack weight, Muscle Band could be really interesting. But I don't know that that's the route I'm going to go. I don't see needing too many defensive options like tanky items per se. Buddy Barrier will probably be enough. This will probably be the build that I want to try out right out of the gate. Muscle Weakness Policy and Buddy Barrier, Muscle Razor Claw, Buddy Barrier, something like that. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, alrighty, friends, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like I said, definitely check out this link to Unite Pro to check out the Dragonite, you know, definitely worth taking a look at and just getting yourself familiar with the character, because the character will be coming out very, very soon. As always, be sure to be kind to one another. Tell someone that you love them. I'll see you on the next video.